All right, welcome to the stream, everybody. We are now live, and there was no issues getting this live. Thank you for 7 o'clock, perfect on time. No, I'm just kidding. There's always an issue here. But anyway, I have Paul with me, who's never really missed an episode. Paul, welcome back.
Yep. The issue with this every week is usually starts with the name Carlo, and oh, you want to do something new, different, or strange, and every week we do something new, different, or strange. In fact, if we ever start on time, that'll be new, different, and strange.
Hey, that could be. That could be. I'm not gonna put that against you. You could be right. So, Paul. Real
Yes.
quick, just want to ask you how your week's been going.
Really, you want to ask me that? I guess I have to be polite. It's going. No, I'm kidding. Well, the good news is, as of Saturday, I'll have my and I should have my PC back, and it should be in working order. So,
Nice.
other than that, it's been a okay week. I
Okay.
haven't killed anybody. Nobody's killed me. So, I guess that's a plus.
Wow, Paul. You gotta be excited, you know what I mean? You gotta
Yeah.
Speaking of being excited, there's this movie that came out. And we interviewed Jonathan for Reels, and it's, you know what? It's a really good movie. It surprisingly is very funny and comedic. So Paul, tell us about it.
Oh, well, yeah. You wouldn't even know about it if it wasn't for me. So it's a movie that Jonathan for Reels, and you may have never heard his name, but if you've seen some of the more out there, even if heck, he was in Boo 2 with Tyler Perry. He was in season 7 of The Walking Dead. And if you remember a guy with a red umbrella in parts of season 7 of The Walking Dead, he was one of those guys. He was the guy with the red umbrella, actually. Um, so he's not just a fly by night guy. They did a little movie. They wanted to do a movie about it. Started out strangely and then turned into what it is. It's called The Marks. It's about backyard wrestling, or a small group of locals that are trying to run this local wrestling group. And it's just, it's, they don't take themselves too seriously as far as the dialogue goes in the script, and you can tell they're having fun. They actually did have real wrestlers on there to teach them some of the basic moves and stuff, so they aren't making fun of wrestling. They're actually paying homage to it in a sense, showing you what backyard wrestling in the 90s was kind of like, the small groups and stuff. It is a fun movie to watch. It really is. And he was supposed to basically just be a guy in the background helping. Then he ended up helping rewrite the script, and he had a much bigger part. Um, but yeah, it's a very good movie. Again, it's called The Marks. It's available on Tubi. Check it out, and then let Jonathan know what you think of it, and let him know you saw it, because they put a lot of work into it, and it's a very fun movie. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, I want to say this. So I went into this movie, and everybody that knows me knows how I feel a little bit about wrestling. Like Paul will tell you, I'm the biggest fan of wrestling there ever was.
Yeah, he called it fake, and both Jonathan and I offered to get his ass beat for it. So
I called soap opera in tights.
we know people that would.
We know people.
That's right.
Yeah. So, I saw it, and knowing that I'm not a big wrestling fan, to be honest with you, except for Ultimate Warrior back in those days, I will tell you this. This movie is hilarious. It's the reason why it's so perfect is because they went in intentionally, like with a low budget, to make it kind of like Clerks, but it came out like a mix of Ernest, Clerks, Napoleon Dynamite, all combined into like this wrestling movie. And it's just funny. Like, it's over the top with some things. You got a weird guy with a Jedi sword that's angry at Jack Dixon.
Yeah.
You got his daughter, Maggie Lightning, who is played by a phenomenal actress. You got Jonathan For Reals in here, who is like the guy that put all this together. I mean, he wrote it, he helped write it. He's also in the video store, and it's got like an old Blockbuster kind of mimic in there, with a lot of funny stuff. So I gotta say, like, this is on Tubi. You can watch it for free, and it's a 2-hour movie. Like, they made this 2 hours of pure fun. So grab your popcorn, grab your favorite Girl Scout cookies or whatever you like to munch on when you're watching movies, Twix bars, Mars bars, M&Ms, whatever it could be, and sit back and watch this movie. Enjoy it for what it is. Whether you think wrestling is soap opera and tights, like this guy, or you think that it's real moves, bro, they still get hurt, like that guy below me, Cerebral Paul.
Because that's the truth.
You're gonna
this. In fact, I posted you a link and told you that just last week somebody got hurt within 30 seconds of her match. She dislocated her shoulder. It was not fake. It was not a put on. She is injured. Yeah.
That is true. That is true. Weren't kidding. It is.
Nope.
It is accurate. But I just want to say, like, I really enjoyed it. I had fun watching it.
Yep, and they, like I said, they have fun with the dialogue. They definitely have fun with the dialogue, and and we actually have an interview with Jonathan For Reals that Carlo needs to finish editing, and we'll put that up, and he'll give you some behind the scenes stories about it and things like that. And we talk a lot about wrestling, and we talk about the movie, and we talk about the other stuff he did. He gives us some background on the Walking Dead. He gives us some background on how Tyler Perry produces his stuff, which I found very interesting. Tyler Perry produces in such a way that it's almost an assembly line situation. Multiple things going on at once, and and if you're part of it, one day you're on stage 5, the next day you might be on stage 6 or stage 4, or doing different things for different shows or different movies.
Now that I will say this, that was a great interview with Jonathan because he discussed a lot about his career in there. And Jonathan's like this really fun guy to talk to, really fun to be around, actor. And he's just down to earth. And the stuff that he was telling us about Tyler Perry's kind of stage studio, it's like amazing. It's streamlined. What else did he say? Like, everybody there does their job and it's done on time. It's run very efficiently. He's got like 7 or 8 different projects going at one time. So the guy is artistic and he has a vision and he knows what he's getting done and the quality of the work that he wants done. So I can't blame him for buying that old military base and living his dream, man. Like, living his life the way he wants to.
Yep. And the cool thing about it was, a lot of it when you watch his shows or you watch his plays that they've recorded and you can see the plays, even the stuff that looks like it's done, like it's a blooper, it's not. It's all, they're so well rehearsed and so well put together that even the bloopers look natural, but they're not. They're all planned and they're scripted out. Kind of takes the fun out of it, but but still, for the viewer though, it makes it fun and exciting, and it changes the pace a little bit, gives you something to look forward to. I think it's much the same way that Mrs. Brown's Boys does over in the UK. It looks like they're having fun and it looks like, oops, a mistake, and you realize that really isn't a mistake. It's just so well planned out. So yeah, and he's fun, and he will be at ATL Con next month.
Yeah, and that's in Atlanta. For anybody that doesn't know, ATL Con is in Atlanta. And they are going to have a panel there with some of the members from the movie. I don't know if it's going to be the guys behind the production, if it's going to be some of the actors or actresses, I'm not sure. But the movie has and this is what I like about this movie. Like, Maggie Lightning is a phenomenal actress. Erica Chase is a phenomenal actress. Jonathan For Reals, he's been in a lot of other stuff like Walking Dead, Butu, like Paul said, and he's a funny actor. Like, he can just roll with the punches. So, and don't even get me started on this Bishop Money guy. I don't know what his name is in the movie. Maybe Paul could tell us? I
I don't
forgot.
remember. I don't remember his actual name. Jonathan mentioned it in the article in the interview.
But that guy is hysterical. He plays such a great role in this movie. So where can you watch this movie right now? You can watch it for free on Tubi. Hey, what's up, Dreadpool? Welcome to the stream.
Real quick, it is also available if you want to get it in physical on DVD and Blu-ray. And there are extras that are on the DVD and Blu-ray. Some shots that didn't quite make it for good reason. And I actually interviewed. This is my second interview with him. I did it with the Oddcast guys the week before. That's where I ran into Jonathan, where I met him. And some of the background stuff and some of the behind the scenes stuff is just really out there. He told us a story that from one take he had decided to get that 90s look. He wanted to stonewash his jeans. Apparently he used too much bleach and they were crunchy. So at one point during one of the takes he bends down and his they don't just break. He said his jeans exploded. Okay. And they actually caught it on camera. So yeah, he had a lot of stories to tell. He's a fun guy. So check out the movie. It's The Marks on Tubi or on Blu-ray or DVD. So
And, again, I'm going to reiterate this is a great wrestling movie. Go see it. Even if you don't like wrestling, it's got,
it's just a fun little indie movie. It really is.
yes. And maybe Paul should be a future announcer on there, running people over with his power scooters. That would be kind of cool.
Actually, Jonathan did say he wants to try and get me at some of this stuff. So
Yeah, that would be awesome for sure. And Paul, speaking of people we've interviewed and talked to about movies and stuff, we have somebody else that has a great show on Peacock right now. Originally Sci-Fi, but it's gone to Peacock.
Actually, no, it is on Sci-Fi. What they're doing is they premiere each episode on Sci-Fi, and then a few days later, every Thursday, it's going to be the next episode's going to be on Peacock. So
Okay.
so like every Thursday, it looks like they're gonna drop one episode. There's one episode up there right now, which I just watched today.
Okay.
It's called Revival, and it's not a spiritual thing. It's it's a take on zombie tales with a new twist. The dead come back to life, and they're totally aware of who they are and what and everything like that. And they don't even understand, why am I in this graveyard? Who buried me? This must be a mistake. And I don't want to give away too much, but so it makes it interesting. But this cop's daughter, who was going to leave the town, well, now the whole area is under quarantine because they need to figure out what happened, so she can't leave. But one of the cases she picks up is she needs to solve the murder of somebody who is now no longer dead. Which
you heard that right.
Yeah. Yep. This person died, but he was one of the ones that was revived. That they call him, the revived. So so now she's got to solve that murder. But by the end of the first episode, you even see there's even more going on, some strange happenings and things like that. And it is a horror show, so it has that zombie twist to it, but it has that twist of they're not brains and just trying to destroy everything. They are trying to be normalized back into the day-to-day life of things. These people that were dead are no longer dead, and they want their job back or whatever. They even have one that goes back to school. Well, you were dead. Well, now you're back in the fourth grade or whatever it was. So and it's only people who died on or after a certain point. It's not everybody who is dead in the graveyard. It's just people who died. So it's very interesting, very well done. It's called Revival, and by Aaron B. Kuntz, who we of course interviewed a couple of years ago. He did a couple of movies. He did a couple of movies that I saw on Shutter. That's where I found him and started talking with him. Was well, I always forget the name of the movie. I mentioned it in my post. Do you have my post up there, Carlo?
I do not, but is it VHS?
No, no, not VHS, but it's that type of thing. It was speaking of old video stores, remember, because the whole thing takes place in a, that's how they wrap around. It's a anthology, and that's how they wrapped it around, is watching videotapes in a video store. This was, there were two of them, and I'm pulling it up now so I can remember which it is. I don't want to get the title wrong. I can think of the subtitle of the second one. Um, it was
Definitely was not. Doo 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 doo.
nope, no, no. Scare Package, and then Scare
Oh,
Package 2,
that's right.
Rad Chad's Revenge. Which are both very good movies if you haven't seen either one of those. This was this new show revival. Aaron was one of the writers as well as one of the producers, and where Rad Chad's Revenge was an anthology and had a little bit of humor in it and stuff. This is more straight. This isn't this isn't what you're used to seeing from Aaron, at least not what I'm used to seeing from Aaron. But it's very good. It's very good. Um, episode 2 drops tonight on Sci-Fi at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central, and then it will show up on Peacock next Thursday. So there's about a week difference between where it actually first shows and then where it's gonna where it drops secondarily. So you can
Nice.
catch up with Revival before the show airs tonight on Sci-Fi.
Yes, I'm excited for this show. I am going to try to convince my wife to watch it. She does not like zombies.
You won't watch it either. You don't like zombies either.
I don't like zombies. I like werewolves more, but
you'll be scared. You'll be scared. You won't watch it. Yeah.
No, no, not on zombies. Yep. I don't mind zombies. Zombies I could deal with. Zombies I could deal with.
Oh, this one may get you.
You know what you know what I can't deal with though?
What's that?
About to tell you here in a second, Paul.
Uh-oh.
$70 Borderlands. I can't deal with that.
Would you rather be 80? I mean, I can talk to the guy. I mean, I tweeted him once.
No. I'm just
Carlos says you didn't charge enough. He wants that $80 price tag.
I gotta be honest. I'm just not a fan of like anything above 60. I think that I just don't think it should go that far. I think the industry makes a ton of money as it is, and it just prices people out. And I know the old argument, like the argument is, well, inflation this, inflation. Yeah, okay, I get it, but games didn't sell that many copies back then like they do today. So today, when they sell a game, they make more than the rate of inflation because based on the amount of units.
But it also costs a lot more to make the game. So I mean, so there's a little bit of both of those. We only know some of what the numbers we see for how much it costs to produce it and stuff like that. And
maybe they should like not have mansions, and they should live in like a condominium and drive a 1975 station wagon. The CEOs,
For those CEOs that might be watching this show, you know who you are. Carlo does not speak for all of us.
Listen, if I got the opportunity to become a CEO, I would definitely take a pay cut. I would probably do it for maybe $100K a year. And I wouldn't mind driving a 1975 station wagon with wood panels. As long as it's up to date.
1974 Ford Pinto, just don't get rear-ended.
Yeah. That's just as bad as driving a Gremlin, right?
Except the Gremlins don't explode. So
unless they get wet.
Well, no, that's a different kind of Gremlin. Yeah.
So Yobi's in the chat. Yobi, what's up? Thanks for coming in, talking, hanging out with us in the chat. Yeah, I'm just, I love Borderlands, but I can't support it at 70, Paul. I might wait till it goes down to 25 and buy it.
Well, I just can't support it at 70 because I can't afford it. So that's
Well, see, that's what I mean. Like, it prices people out too. And you're probably not the only person in that situation. There's probably a lot of people in that situation where they're priced out of it. So that's not cool.
it's funny how people are trying to bend his, because a couple weeks ago he said, it could be $80. I don't have any control of that one. Now it's just 70. People like, oh, cool, it's just 70. It's a mind game. It's a mind game. It could have been 80, but it's only 70, so that's better, right? They're messing with you. They're playing with you. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where I stand on it, Paul. Like, does it bother you? Besides the fact that you can't afford it right now, does it bother you that a game's 70? Do you think they should be lower?
I think my only issue is that we went from so many years of having no price hikes to we've had what 4 or 5 in the last 5 years. That maybe they need to try to, like you say, it's the same with government. Instead of trying to get more money in, try to stop spending so much. Find ways, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what they say, that they're using AI should save money, but there's still that initial investment into AI, and so that costs money. Same with any kind of thing like that. Automation that costs money. So some way you got to make that money back, and most companies rather do it sooner than later. So yeah,
I don't
so
know.
yeah,
I think corporations ruin gaming to an extent, you know what I'm saying? I liked it back in the day when Capcom like made Mega Man. And it didn't feel as big as Capcom is today. I like the smaller feel to the companies.
yeah. I mean, but the industry grew, so the companies grew. That's how capitalism. That's how that works. You know, so it's a balancing act. So we'll see what happens. Yeah.
Let's see here. What did Dreadpool just say? He said Randy Pitchford dropped the price $10, but jacked up DLC by $20. Sounds like
Yeah.
hide the shell game. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean that's a possibility, or it really could have been his publisher. I don't know. Maybe 2K is the one that put NBA 2K at like $70.
Yeah. Yeah, you know how I feel about those yearly sports games, though. Those don't need to be rebought every year. They should just be doing roster updates and stuff, except for maybe every 2 to 3 years, then do an engine update. But
Yeah.
yeah, but hey, as long as people are willing to pay for that stuff, they're gonna keep doing it. Madden and NBA, man.
Yeah, Dreadpool, I agree. Not all games are worth $80 across the board. They're just not.
No.
Some games are worth $30. Some games are worth
Yep.
$15. Some
And
games are
that's what we've always said too. Just because the threat of GTA 6 coming out at $100, could they get away with it? Sure, but Borderlands never could. You know, very few other games coming out could get away with that and expect to sell. You know, but everybody going, oh, they're going to make it so it's $100 is a new price for all games. Like you just said, not all games are the same. Not even close. There are very. In fact, I wouldn't pay $100 for GTA, but I'm not that big of a GTA fan. But there are people that will. But there is no game where I would fork out $100 for it for the base version.
hmm.
None. I mean, the only way I'd fork out a game like that for a Star Wars game, and Star Wars is my jam, was if it came with a lightsaber, and I mean a real lightsaber, not a one that I could slice my toast with. Okay.
Wow. Paul, that is asking for a little bit there. That is asking for a little bit.
Well,
Oh
that
man.
tells you where I'm at with that.
But there has been some good gaming news, Paul. I mean, you know, um, you could say haha to a lot of people out there that thought Xbox was dead, so they are, what's the term, Paul? Making a partnership with AMD, and coming out strong. Is that the term, Paul?
Yep.
Is that what we're looking for?
Yeah, still a lot of questions, but I'm not gonna, I'm again, like I always say, this came from Microsoft, so this is they're doing something. They did say they're coming out with another console, and now the argument is, well, it's not going to be a console, it's just going to be a PC with a console skin, blah blah blah. I'm like, oh crap, just wait till you see it before you complain about it. Jeez, you know.
So yeah, there's a couple things here, right? There, we got the Asus ROG Ally X, which is going to be basically the ROG Ally, but it's going to have a little bit faster operating system, a more advanced chip, and it's going to be streamlined to actually play like Xbox stuff, and it's going to have other storefronts that you could put on there. But then you also have the alleged next gen Xbox console that will allow you to have other storefronts on there too. And people are trying to say, oh, well, this all of a sudden it's not good. Or listen, that kind of console will sell better than any other console because people who want to play on Steam but maybe can't afford a hybrid, like a high end Steam PC, they might get this Xbox hybrid console and play their Steam games on there. I think the possibilities are endless. It's more open to a lot of people. And then you have other people saying, well, why don't they just make it a PC then? Well, listen, we have no idea what's going to happen. We have no idea how it's going to be implemented yet. So you could sit there and speculate all you want, but I'm going to tell you this. Wait till you actually see it like Paul said before you make a decision, before you make a judgment, because we have no idea how Xbox is going to do this. And the fact that they're willing to go the extra mile, make partnerships with other companies to spread the joy of gaming to everybody. I'm all for that, Paul.
Yeah. And the idea is some people say, well, since they're doing this, all I need to do is I have PS5 and a gaming PC. Well, not everybody can afford a decent gaming PC. They're, and I could see that if I could play everything, including PlayStation games that are put on PC via the Steam store on my new Xbox, whatever it is, why doesn't that make that my go-to box for everything? Sure, I won't get the PlayStation games day and date, but like me personally, there is nothing the PlayStation puts out that I'm like, oh, I gotta play that like right now. There really isn't. I have access to one here. I very seldom use it. I've checked out the God of Wars, but there's no for me. I'm talking about me. And this isn't console war shit. This is just what I know, what I use. Now that I've had a functional gaming PC, I've gone back to gaming on PC a bit more. But still primarily I use the Xbox thing. Thanks to Wise Old Gamer, I also now have a Steam Deck, so I can do that there as well. So for me, I would probably end up going with the new Xbox, whatever it is. I mean, I'm, a lot of it's going to come down in price. If the ROG Ally if the ROG Ally X, the big version, the black version is going to be $1,000, yeah, I might not do that. But if the new console, when it comes out, does a lot of what the ROG Ally X does, except it's in a console form and I hook it up to my big TV, I will probably try to do that. Especially if it has access to my Epic store and my Steam store, which I do have libraries in both of those as well as I have a few games in my PlayStation store as well.
Yeah, and let's talk about something that's kind of like a big deal with this. So Epic and some of the other storefronts actually give out free games.
Yep.
So the fact that you can add that storefront to your hybrid console or whatever you want to call it and play those games, that's kind of cool. Like you don't have to pay for them. That they give out free games, and
some of them are usually pretty good after a while. Yeah.
Yeah, like they're not bad games on Epic that they give out. Yep. And if you can even run the Amazon launcher on this thing, that would be great too, because they have some pretty cool free games.
Because Amazon gives out free games through GOG and through through their store, also through Xbox now as well. Some of their codes are Xbox specific as well now too. Um, so yeah, I got a lot of duplicated games on different storefronts, and sometimes it's hard to figure out where I played what, but they're all there. So and GOG does a good job of, if you link up all your stuff in GOG, it will show you what titles you have where. So you can kind of figure out, okay, what do I where do I need to go to play this game, or where do I need to go to play that game? That is one thing I hope they do with whatever they're doing at Xbox, that they have a way to tell you through a screen, okay, here's the storefront you have this on, and you can filter it out so you can, you know, play it in certain places, type of thing. That's the
Yeah.
only thing I hope, is to help you clean up your storefronts a bit, because some of us who grab whatever's free, we have a lot of duplication. I have Skyrim on the Xbox. I have Skyrim on the PC, I think twice. I you know, I have the Borderlands games on multiple storefronts. Um, so yeah, and since they don't all talk nice to each other, it'd just be nice to be able to narrow down which one I actually want to play. You know, so
Yeah, and I think that having these multiple storefronts on an Xbox, PC, game, console, whatever term we're going to call it right now, I think it's a good idea. I think it's going to bring in bigger partnerships for Xbox. I think it's going to open up the ecosystem a little bit more. And if you can access all these things on an Xbox, you really don't have a need to have other consoles if you're a multi-console gamer in general, or a
yep,
casual gamer. Like, you really don't have that kind of need anymore. Granted, with the, unless you really want to play the first party PlayStation titles day and date, like Astrobot or God of War day and date, or Spider-Man. And to be honest with you, the only games that I've really played on my PlayStation is Spider-Man. Like, I love those titles, so I play those day and date. But other than that, like, I really don't, I'm not on there. Because everything else is multi-plat that I play, and I could just play it on Xbox.
yep,
And like Paul said, this is not a console war thing. This is just an opinion of how we play our games. And a lot of people in the US do have an ecosystem on Xbox. It's just how we've been.
yep.
So that's what I got to say on that. Paul, anything else you want to add?
No, no, I think that pretty much nails it, because you know me, I come at it from a strictly, here's the way it is. Now, it's because, and it's not because I personally, I like the direction Xbox is going. Everybody's like, well, it's the death of the console. Well, no, it's not. It may be the fact that you're crying that, well, we still have to have, a lot of people think that without exclusives it will die. And I think it's going to be exactly the opposite. They're getting their product out there in front of more people. That's good. That's what you want. Console or not, what you're going to want is the games and the products to play or whatever. And the way to do that, to keep that alive, is to get it out there in front of more people so they can keep that industry going. That's
Yeah.
why, you know, we're it's like, we're only going to be putting it out here. Well, then you're only going to, if you only sell like 20,000 copies or 30,000 copies, compared to if you could sell 50,000 or 100,000. Personally, if I'm on that board, I'd rather you sell 50 or 100,000. Don't care how you do it, just do it. You know,
Well, also, let me give you an analogy, right? Like, if you were going to a grocery store and you're picking up your favorite soda drink, right? Like, a lot of people prefer Coca-Cola. Okay, you got Coca-Cola and Pepsi, right? Just think about this. So now, the reason why they're so popular is because you can get them at mostly any type of grocery store. But what if in the future they had a exclusive that you can only get it at one particular grocery store, and that grocery store was like miles away from you, but you go to the other one to pick up all your other stuff? You're probably going to end up switching brands just because of convenience.
yeah,
So by having exclusives in the future, you're limiting your potential base. And that's why I think opening up their first party to other consoles is a great idea. And it's not just I'm not defending it. I just think it's a smart business move. I actually been saying this for a long time. I said this in other podcasts going as far back as like 2013, and people said I was nuts. People said, "Oh, you're crazy. Exclusive cell consoles, exclusive." Listen, the future is not about exclusives. The future is about convenience. And we see that more and more if you look at everything that's around us with attention spans and convenience. It's all about how quickly can you get something, how quickly can it load? And most people don't even want to get up to put discs in anymore. They just want to hit a button on their remote or a button on their phone and just go. That's this generation. That's this generation. They could care less if something's exclusive. They don't care. They just want to play.
Yep. It's just like, it's one of those things. It's like people who are, or who blame Xbox for the death of physical. Don't blame Xbox for the death of physical. That's just, if you want to go back to like Netflix and things like that. Those digital storefronts started showing these other companies that, hey, we can go digital and we don't have to do all this other stuff. We don't need to have all this physical stuff. So, but even then, don't sit there don't blame me because I prefer digital because, well, it is easier for me to one, get it. Two, I don't have to worry about storing, pounds and pounds and, you know, 32 metric square feet of space to store all this stuff. Do I wish I could? Absolutely. But I'm also not gonna get angry at the companies for doing it. They're do I wish do I personally think that the digital content should be cheaper than the physical content? Yes, I do. Because you're not having to design and do packaging. You're not having to, you know, press the disc. You're not having to put those, to do all that stuff that comes. You're not having to ship it. You're not having to store it. It's sitting on a drive somewhere, taking up bit space. Yes, and yet the digital copy of a movie is sometimes even more expensive than the physical copy of a movie, which I think is absolutely outrageous. But they do that because they know there's people like me. If it's good enough, or if they really want to see it bad enough, they will pay it. I will very piss. I won't. Like I mean, they've been trying this for years. There was actually a service for a while that for $25 you could see, at home the same movie that was day and date in theater. They tried it for a while. It didn't, as you know, those companies aren't around anymore. Because they couldn't get enough of a base that was willing to do it on a big enough level. But they've been trying this stuff for years. So some of it I think is just like with everything. And it's funny because I'm one of the older guys in this community, and I'm one of the ones who isn't standing there kicking my feet, going, "Get off my lawn. I don't like these changes." There are people that are young, a lot younger than me, that are the ones doing that. That are going, "Oh my God, this is gonna, this sucks. This is awful. This is, what's gonna happen?" Well, what's gonna happen is things are gonna change. That's what's gonna happen. That's, and you can disagree with it all you want, but you're never gonna get enough people to, we have to all go out and buy digital or physical. Okay. Okay. Tell you what, if you can get you and like, say, 500,000 of your closest friends to only buy physical for like a couple of years, maybe they'll turn around, but I don't see that happening.
Well, no, because
So,
the places that make physical are going out of business. The companies don't want to pay for storage. They don't want to pay for
yeah,
labor on the
yeah.
physicals and all of that. So it's a dying industry. You like it or not. Like, I mean, Gen X loves physical media, and there's no dispute in that, right? But even you buy a collector's edition today, it's got a code
Hey,
in there.
don't say no, 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 no. Don't Gen X that shit. No, no, no. This is after me. Okay. Most of the people I know in my generation were like, whatever, less shit I have to store. You know,
I don't see. I don't know because I know there's a lot of people in this community that are Gen Xers like us, and they prefer physical. It's just dying though.
I
Dreadpool.
think it's more the Gen Z types that are the ones whining about the.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. That is interesting. Dreadpool says do you think that the PS5 controller could connect to an Xbox? Well, I think, if Xbox really wants to put this,
well, if they're saying it's a PC at its base, then yes, theoretically, because PlayStation just put out a patch to allow their devices to connect to their controllers to connect to multiple devices. So I mean, if they theoretically, yes.
yeah, yeah, all they gotta do is put the drivers in the OS, and it could
Yep.
work. Yeah, and the thing is, if Xbox does make it more like a PC type console hybrid, there will probably be people that will add the drivers some way or another and make it happen.
Yeah.
Somewhere along the lines. That's definitely a good question. Well, real quick, I just want to give my condolences to David H.K. Bell, who passed away, his friends and family. He was the guy in Lilo and Stitch where he dropped his, what do you call it? Ice cone. And it's sad too, because just last week he was talking about how excited he was in the movie and how his career was taking off, and passes away. So very sad to hear that. Lilo and Stitch was a great live action movie. If you haven't seen it, it's great for the friends, family, kids, all that stuff. It's just like a good time. Have you seen Lilo and Stitch?
Not the live action, no.
Oh.
I have to say it wasn't high up on my list of interests, but with that, I will probably see it, just to see it.
Yeah, it's got a lot of comedic moments in there. I mean, there's some parts that were predictable, or some parts where they made the characters like very, what's the term I'm looking for? Very easy to predict their actions or their mannerisms. But other than that, there was some good stuff there.
Yep. I found the live action takes on some of this stuff has been hit or miss. Like I just the other day watched the live action Snow White.
Oh, Paul!
My God, that was a bad movie. Oh, that was not well done. That was they broke that movie. They broke that movie.
The only actress in that movie that was good was Gal Gadot. She really tried to play an evil queen, but nobody else lived up to her presence on set, and they just she couldn't save the movie by herself.
Nope.
Neither could the Seven Dwarfs.
Yeah, they weren't that great. My biggest issue was like, because this was Disney's first major motion picture as an animated show was Snow White. That was the first one they ever did as a full blown movie. That was that's their history. And they didn't do it justice. That was sad. They didn't even have Snow White sing the "I'm Wishing" song from the Wishing Well thing. They had this other updated crap that they so the music was not memorable. I will say that the stuff that was added to the score was not good. The only song they did use the original, the "Hi Ho, I'm off to and whistle while you work." Those are the only two songs that I know that they used from the original. But this is supposed to be a retelling of that story. They got rid of the prince. They made it some guy who wanders around the woods and just kind of befriends Snow White. He definitely married up.
Yep.
Some of the changes I didn't get. I did notice some of the scenes that they pulled directly from the original, especially where the evil queen was concerned. But some of it was also out of place. Like, okay, so after she knows Snow White is still alive, she goes and she poisons the apple. Now, mind you, this is an apple that for some odd reason they'd already shown you earlier in the movie she was keeping in a treasure box in her room. So she just had this random apple sitting there. It wasn't poisoned yet or nothing, but it was just sitting there, not rotting or anything. So I don't know how that works. And then all of a sudden, oh, Snow White's alive. Okay, I'm going to get this apple that we know I already have for whatever reason, and now I'm going to poison it. It's parts of it just it didn't make sense.
Deadpool said that it's funny that I said that she was the best actress in it because they used her for the worst takes. You know, I do think that she got the bad end of the stick.
Though she had said that was her dream role. She wanted to play that role. So more power to her. Mm.
Interesting. I'm gonna have to look in. You just made me think about something, Dreadpool. I never noticed anything like that, so I gotta have to go back and watch the animated series. He said he likes a version where Snow White eats the apple, dies, and Prince Charming comes to take her away. It's actually an angel taking her to heaven, right? Look at the animated movie and think about what I just said. Interesting. Don't know anything about that.
Well, also, I want to point out that anybody who knows anything about nature knows that if you have a dead, rotting corpse, which supposedly Snow White was, or at least she was, uh, don't leave her out in the open next to a lake. No, no, just no. The bacteria and stuff. Yeah, she wouldn't have lasted that long. Yeah, it had to be. Uh,
so so kind of like the last topic that I got going here is Little Nightmares 3 is supposed to premiere next week. Some information on it.
yeah,
That's what we seen in an article. And, you know, I don't know if it's a rumor, if it's going to be fact, but they said that Supermassive is behind Little Nightmares 3. So I got to say, as a big Supermassive fan, I am happy to hear that. I really like Supermassive. I think they make fantastic games. Paul, you're more apt to play this because Supermassive is going to be involved?
no, because it's not. It's one, it's not my type of game, and two, I'm glad they're involved if they are. But it's not their usual fare. It's not their storytelling. It's not their, it's not their, um, the what is it? The pick your mystery type of thing where you have choices that affect the gameplay, unless they've totally done a totally different, game. But so even though they may have helped on it with some of the stuff, I don't think it's going to make it a super massive storytelling game. Which I played, I think, all of their stuff so far, so but yeah, them being involved doesn't make me say, oh my god, I got to try this.
Surprised. I'm surprised. I have never liked, I'm going to be honest, I didn't like Little Nightmares 1 because I just watched somebody play it and I was like, oh, it's not for me. But now Supermassive's involved. I'm a little curious. I might watch some streams of it. Maybe. Might play it. Not sure. But yeah, I think that's where I'm at with this one.
Like, yeah, I didn't read the article from Seasoned Gaming, Ainge and those guys, but I did see that they said there was going to be a thing next week for it. So,
Is there anything else that you're excited about, Paul? Anything coming up?
not that I can, not anything that's coming up really soon. No, no.
Okay.
We are almost going to be in July. August is going to be when there's stuff coming out that I'm excited for because that's when we get Mafia and we get a few other things like that. And we know I'm excited for Mafia. So,
Yeah, I'm disappointed it's not open world. Silence. Paul is silence.
yep. No, I'm shooting at things in Outer Worlds.
Oh, nice.
Which I am
Yes.
looking forward to. That's for some reason coming out in October, but you can preload it on your Xbox now. So if you have copious free space for a big gigantic game, feel free to install it now. No.
That's some good advice right there. So, Paul, where can people find you?
You can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, back when it was sane. Uh, as Cerebral Paul 1. You can find me at Twitch at Cerebral Paul. And this Saturday, I should be getting my PC back and have it all set up. Plan to start streaming again. I've got a bunch of stuff lined up that I want to stream, including the Expanse game from Telltale Games, speaking about Supermassive, um, and a few other games that I have not had a chance to play yet that I've been looking forward to and I think will be fun and exciting. Might even do some of this on stream, and I will be on not only Twitch but on YouTube because I was just starting to get that stuff started again when my computer went, nope, you're done. So And then I may look into doing Awakenings as well, but that one would cost me money. But I got to look into it. That is the kind of game I would like, though. So we're gonna check it out. And of course, you can find me every Friday on Wasted with Wise, every Thursday here. Um, I have been doing. If you're not following them yet, follow. Look up Oddcast on on uh, on X, and I've been doing with Jokey. I've been doing reviews or discussions about some really bad sci-fi movies that he makes me watch. I mean, just awful. Just, not all of them are bad though. Like the other day, we did Bubba Hotep for Father's Day. Bubba Hotep is actually a pretty decent movie, but because of that, I'm making him watch Return to Salem's Lot, and also making him watch for Fourth of July, Uncle Sam, another awful, awful movie. So, so yeah. And then I have been doing it lately because that's the night we've been doing that is recording on Tuesdays. Is of course Retro Renegades on Tuesdays when I show up, and then this on Thursdays, and whatever else happens to show up during the week. Like I said, I plan on streaming more, so hopefully I'm going to start taking up some of that time with streaming some of my own stuff. So
And then you guys can catch me on 4GQ TV. We got some things coming up. We got probably some more interviews planned that we just got to get scheduled. Sometimes scheduling the interviews takes some time, making sure everybody's available. But other than that, I got a big thing dropping on this channel about Mr. Beast. Got to talk to a toy company that licenses Mr. Beast Labs to make Mr. Beast products, so it's kind of cool. That will be coming out soon, and catch you guys.